Welcome back everybody to another MOTOBOB video, and you join us today at MCL 2025 here in the UK, and we're at Kawasaki for a look at this beautiful little retro bike. This is new in their lineup for 2026. I think it's existed in Asia, this W230, but for the new model year they're bringing it to the UK as well. And so is this one of the affordable small capacity retros that you should consider? Well, in this video we'll go through all the details to find out. Now let's start off with the engine, and it's an air-cooled single. It's their 230. I think they use it in some other bikes like the KLX. But look, this is not going to be the most powerful or quickest bike in this particular market sector, with about 17 horsepower peak and just under 20 newton meters of peak torque. If you look at the Triumph 400s, even the Honda 350, they're making 40 for the Triumph, they're making, I think, about 27 for the Honda. But look, I think this one's not necessarily about earth-shattering performance, and more so about the looks, the charm, and also how easy it'll be to ride. You see, one of the things that I spotted on the spec sheet that really does make this bike stand out from the crowd is the weight figure. It comes in at 133 kilograms dry and 143 kilograms when the 12-litre tank is fully topped up. Now, that is extremely light. It's about 20 or 30 kilos lighter than both the Honda and the Royal Enfield 350s, for example. And so if you're looking for a bike that's very easy to get on with, something that feels super easy to manage, then this could be a very good option. I'm thinking about newer riders, I'm thinking about shorter riders as well. But also anyone who's looking for a very easy to thread little city bike, a little commuter, then I think this could really hit the mark, where peak power isn't necessarily the key factor. On top of that though, we've also got a very, very low seat height at 745mm, which I think is another factor that's going to make this bike look quite appealing to a certain type of rider. Now, you know, you'd say the Enfields, the GB350, things like that are also perhaps in that kind of area where there's something that looks easy to get on with. But still, this is, I think, 40 or 50mm lower than those bikes, so really substantially lower. And that means you've got a super easy reach to the floor. It feels very reassuring to sit on. And so yeah, definitely consider this one if you want something that's particularly low. As for the chassis, well, look, this is, again, performance is not the main focus of this bike. It's a steel cradle frame, you've got a right way up fork, you've got preload adjustable twin shocks, spoke wheels with an 18 up front, I believe, a 17 at the rear. You've got these retro looking tyres, and also you've got a 2-pot brake up front, I think on a 265mm disc, so not particularly big, and a single pot brake at the rear. So it's not really a sporty kind of ride, but I think given that it's a relatively small bike, it's probably appropriately spec'd for the type of riding that this bike is realistically intended for. You could argue the same of the tech package as well. If you look at the technology section of the Kawasaki website for this particular bike, it's pretty slim pickings. It just lists ABS. But then again, for someone who likes this more classic and traditional aesthetic, you know, they probably like the tech pack to match in terms of its simplicity. So you could see that as a good thing. Also, they have preserved these twin analog clocks, which I know can be a big hit with retro bike fans. And so you've got to say, in this kind of cockpit area, it really does look rather nice. In fact, I think you've got to say the styling package as well has got to be one of the other really appealing things about this bike. I really enjoyed riding that Honda GB350S that we get here in the UK. But one of my few criticisms was that it perhaps just didn't look quite as nostalgic as possible, as heritage inspired. It's got fairly basic tank paint with like a grey blue and a black. It's very much blacked out in the finish, whereas this really leans on that more traditional classic kind of look, with the spoke wheels, the chrome mudguards front and rear, the chrome on the exhaust, and also the way that they finish the tank and the seat. I think it looks like it's got a little more detail to it, a little more of that tradition to it, more of a reference back to the bikes that inspired it. And so yeah, I'd say overall the visuals are a massive hit for me. I also like the modernity of the LED lighting, but also the way they've made it look in keeping with the rest of the bike. The tank badges, the little chrome filler cap, the round mirrors, it all works really, really nicely together, and definitely the looks are a big selling point, I reckon, of this particular bike. So what can we expect to pay for one of these? Well, it's 4,654 quid. which I think is kind of reasonable-ish. Clearly, it's not as cheap as the Honda. I think for 2025 that was $3,999. An Enfield, for example, the Hunter 350, that comes in at under $4,000 as well. Although I should point out that something like a Bullet 350, which is more equivalent to this bike in terms of the level of finish and the traditional look, is around that price as well. So maybe it is reasonably priced. The only kind of hindrance perhaps is the performance. It's not going to be the quickest bike, like I say, but if you want something very easy to get on with in terms of the weight, in terms of the seat height, and also really like this classic look, then I think it still could be worth a bit of a demo for 2026. Now, I think they're going to be in dealers from January, so you'll be able to get on a bike from then. And so I'd love to know what you think of it down in the comments below. Is it one that you're going to look at, or would you go with one of the others? We'll put our playlist on the screen now as well from Motorcycle Live this year. We've got plenty of content coming over the next few days, so do have a look. If you've missed anything and you want to keep up to date, hit subscribe as well for more of the latest motorcycle news and reviews right here on MOTOBOB. A massive thanks for watching this one, and we'll see you in the next video.